It's a must-win for the Chicago Bears this Sunday versus the Cowboys at Soldier Field. We're going to be talking about it all here on the Brick by Brick podcast starting right now. Welcome back to the Brick by Brick podcast presented by our good friends over at Circa Sports. Shout out Circa Sports all day, every day. We appreciate their support. As always, to the program, I am your host, Greg Braggs Jr. Alongside me, as always, is Jerry Azumah and Lance Briggs here joining us here in the early AM of the Arizona beautiful sunlight and breeze.
It is beautiful.
I'm sure it is. Arizona's one of my favorite places in the country. I'd never leave. Yeah, I'd never leave Chicago, the Chicagoland area. I know I live in Northwest Indiana. Thank you very much. But I would never leave this area because of my love for this city. Yeah, but if I did, there's only two places in the country that I would consider moving. That's Arizona or Nashville.
Nashville
area.
No Miami in your life?
No Miami in my life.
Oh, my goodness.
My parents,
have you been?
My parents-in-law have a place in Fort Myers, so we go down there once a year.
That's not Miami. Have you been to Miami?
I've never been to Miami.
Okay, you need to go to Miami.
Is it good? Is it good?
I heard it's okay.
It's all right. Okay.
I heard it's okay.
All right.
Listen, Braggs, I said the same thing about Sacramento when I was in high school. All right. Now, years later, I've only been back to visit, okay? Been back to visit.
All right.
I love Sacramento. I love that area, but when the bird left, he didn't come back.
Yeah. Well, it's hard. It's hard for me to leave this city, and if I wasn't being tortured by our sports teams here in Chicago, I don't know what I'd have in my life. But hey, shout out to the Chicago Cubs. I got my CHGO Cubs shirt on. They made the playoffs yesterday.
Let's go Cubs.
We'll see if the Cubs can win a playoff series. It would be our first playoff series win in the history of CHGO Sports if the Cubs can find a way to win in the first round. So hopefully they can get home field advantage throughout the wild card. So shout out to them. We need all the playoff vibes we can get. So
Absolutely.
The Cubs getting it done yesterday. Congrats to them. So let's get into this, guys. It's a big one here coming up on Sunday afternoon. And Briggs, you just revealed to us, I didn't realize it, that there's storms potentially in the forecast for Sunday.
It's a lot. I saw Zoom. He's got on a lot of salmon-colored polos right now. And so it made me think of golf. And so we were talking about golf. We mentioned golf. So I wanted to look at the weather to see if maybe there was a time that we could all get out on the course. And it's going to rain or thunderstorm from Saturday night until at least by Tuesday. So
it's not going to be good.
Yep. A little sour.
Well, that's
that might help us. That might raise our chances against the Cowboys.
Might.
Yeah,
raise our chances.
Who knows?
Who knows? It might raise their chances.
Right. It's hard to say because both teams' defenses are struggling, to put it mildly. And both teams, obviously the Cowboys' offense is really clicking on all cylinders, at least last week, dropping 40 points.
That's what they do.
The
in
Bears
the beginning of the season.
Trying to incrementally get better on offense, but you got to think with how bad the defense has been for the Cowboys that the Bears potentially could take another step here this week on the offensive side of the football. But we'll get into all that. We'll have our blueprint of how we can beat the Cowboys here later in the program, maybe a little fill in the blank here in between. So we got some things planned, help you make some money on the NFL slate to end the show. But I wanted to start you guys off with some audio that throughout the week that I think has kind of come to light. And Ben Johnson here on Monday, spoke to the media and kind of talked about competition he was asked about Luther Burden, and really it was talking about how guys can get on the football field and how Ben Johnson and this coaching staff are going to prioritize who's getting the reps they're looking for. So let's hear from Ben here for a second.
The way that we've talked about it as a coaching staff going into this week is we're going to have a lot more competition. I've alluded to it before. Just what these guys look like when the ball's not in their hands, that's a big deal for us. And so there were some plays there yesterday that we weren't quite as pleased with what that looked like on tape. And so we're going to find out this week at practice who wants to practice hard and who wants to be a little bit more involved with the game plan here going into Sunday.
So there it is from Ben Johnson.
Oh, boy.
I mean,
competition already. Week 3.
Yep.
It's amazing. You know what? It's needed, though, because if you look for any type of identity for this team, there is absolutely none. And there's no, area that's really standing out with a lot of positivity. So competition is good. I applaud Ben for saying, you know what, let's open it up a little bit. Let's see what these guys have. Let's compete a little bit and see who's going to win these starting positions. I like it. I'm a fan of that.
Briggs
Here we go.
With the grin of the century.
You're not a fan of that? I like it. That's what should be happening.
I'm a fan of production. Produce. Come out here and produce. You can go out and do whatever the hell you need to do in practice, but if you're not producing on Sundays, then none of that stuff matters. None of that matters. There's a lot of chatter. I'm more concerned with the action. I think the action of what I saw last week, I don't ever want to see again. Especially as a defensive guy, there was no pride, there was no inspiration, there was nothing that they put on tape last week defensively that makes me confident or happy or anything positive going into this week. So this week, they need to go out on that very first play after and go win the first damn play. I mean, no penalties. Go out, everybody. If it's a run, everybody get in your damn gap and let's shut the run down. If it's a pass, get to your drops. Keep your eyes on your man. Have good eye discipline and shut the first play down. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah. I mean, what Ben said. It sounds good, but play some football.
Yeah. And so there certainly has been a lot of talk because then yesterday, Ben Johnson kind of doubled down on the practice habits of the team, not just, wide receivers. And this is what he had to say here about that.
I think our practice habits are yet to reflect the championship caliber team. We should be going to the football, finishing hard. We talk about it all the time with the offensive players that our fundamentals, our finish, and our technique, they need to show up and walk through. They need to show up on the practice field. That's how it shows up on game day. Simple things of how do we properly block, how do we catch the ball, how do we block after the catch, ball security, and things like that. It's the little things that you learn in youth league football that even at this level, they make a huge difference.
There's Ben Johnson today, but I want to draw you back because this kind of got my ears perked up, and I think Eric Lambert on Twitter brought this up as well. Cole Kmet, a year ago in October. Let's play this audio and tell me if we hear some similarities going on.
But I think it's a really a good lesson for everybody to learn from in terms of how to respect the game. And I think we had examples of that throughout the game and quite frankly, throughout the week of practice this past week where, there's moments where maybe some guys lay off here and there. And those are the type of things that can happen when you do that for just a split second. And, it doesn't always come to bite you in the butt, but when it does, it hurts.
You talking about practice?
So that's a year ago, Cole Kmet talking about how the team's not practicing hard enough and how that's spilling over into the game. And now 3 games into Ben Johnson's head coaching tenure here in Chicago, saying the same thing. So, Lance, I'll ask you this. Who is this a bigger indictment on, the players or the coach?
Don't hold back,
because
Lance.
It's not like Ben just started coaching this team last week. I respect that he's calling it out. That's what's needed. I don't want to hear we had a great week of practice
No,
and then
I'm tired of
showing up
that.
like we heard last week. So that's a step in the right direction. But how are we hearing the same things we heard last October from one of your captains, Cole Kmet, to now 3 games in the season? It's the same stuff coming out the head coach's mouth.
Well, I will say this: the best thing that I've heard him say was that these are things that you learn down in youth football. All right, as a youth football coach, he's right. He is definitely right. Those fundamentals, those things that they're working on, those minute details, it does start at the youth football level. All right, that's a great message to tell these kids. Listen, if it's coming from the coach, I'd rather hear it come from the coach in week 3 rather than the players or one of our players specifically speaking out on what he's seeing out at the practice. The coach should be able to see exactly what those players are saying, and the coach needs to step in front and say it first. Action, man. I'm more about action. Go out on each play. Go out and win the damn day defensively. Defense. It's hard for me to speak on the offensive side because sometimes that's none of my business. Sometimes, but on the defensive side, you have to play it in extremes. That means that in an 8-man front, you cannot run the ball. If everybody does their job, if we have a pass rush that gets to the quarterback, we will have opportunities on the back end to step in front of balls and be opportunistic. Okay? If we're communicating and everybody knows where everybody's supposed to be, we are dangerous. So if we're going about it and we're doing this the right way, and the thing about this team right now is that they're too talented. We can't say that there's no talent, that we haven't had this, because they built this doggone team. All right? So they're talented enough to go out there, if they do their job, to be a formidable team. And we're not seeing that. So they're not reaching their standards.
Yeah, I mean, culture and identity. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ben came in here and he wanted to establish a culture right away, right? That was kind of like his main thing and his main goal. And now we're having culture issues in week 3. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes down to practice and identity issues. Like, who are the Chicago Bears? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is their identity right now? They don't have an identity. They don't really have much of a culture right now, too. So this is something that needs to be figured out immediately. We talked about this in the preseason, that they need to put this stuff in place and then kind of grow from there. The foundation needs to be set. It doesn't even sound like the foundation is actually being set right now. You know what I'm saying? It still sounds like they're working on their foundation, of who exactly they want to be and who they are. And I think they're going to have to come together quickly and figure this thing out about who they want to be and who they are. And then we're talking about, like, practice, for example, like guys not really hustling around and practice habits and things like that. Lance, you're exactly right, man. We built this foundation back when we played youth football. Like, we know how to go and practice. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know how to be productive in practice. We're pros. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, for that to be an issue right now really disturbs me. It really disturbs me because it's showing that there is a lot of chaos in this organization going on in this organization right now. We are here in week 3, and this team is sitting here giving up 52 points to Detroit, a rival. You know what I'm saying? No identity there. And then the week before, falling apart in the fourth quarter, you know what I'm saying, to lose that game. This team needs to figure out who they want to be moving forward. It's up to the coaching staff and obviously the players as well. But the coaching staff needs to figure this thing out immediately, because I don't want to hear things about practice and practice habits. Like, we should be over that hurdle by now. We should be in a groove of things right now with a strong foundation built.
Well, let me ask you this. You were drafted in
99.
So you went through some years where the team wasn't good, right?
Yeah.
And then you eventually found your way in 2001.
Yeah, where the team was good.
Got to the playoffs. Briggs, you were drafted in 2003.
Yep.
That was the Chad Hutchinson year, correct?
I don't even know what quarterback.
Yeah, it was a lot. There were a lot. There was
about 15 quarterbacks around that time.
Cordell Stewart. It was Chris Chandler.
It was a lot.
Yeah, right. So, but then you found your way in 2005. So I guess this is what I'm asking you, because when we watched this team at camp this year, he was installing a new attitude, a new physicality that we haven't seen in a while. And so I actually am a little surprised it hasn't how do we go back to the practice habits that we had last year during the season when the practice habits at training camp were very different than last year's training camp, where they turned it up a notch. So how has this team reverted back to bad habits and bad culture when it was trying to get changed? So I guess the question I have to you guys, as guys that joined teams that were not good and then eventually found their way to being good, what were the practice habits of those teams, that on the bad teams you were on when you first joined? I'll start with you, Jerry.
The practice habits were, when I first got into the league, I had to learn what the league was all about, first of all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, obviously the coaches had something to do with it, but it was mostly the players, the veteran players. When I first got into the league, there was a lot of veteran leadership in the secondary. So those guys kind of showed me the ropes of how to be a professional and how to practice at that level. And then the coaches obviously built that strong foundation as well by implementing certain things to get the team up to speed. But but when it comes down to the Chicago Bears now, I don't know really what's going on. I mean, I've been to a couple of training camps, sessions this year for the Chicago Bears, and it seemed like everything was clicking. Everything was good. It felt like everyone knew their responsibility when it came to practicing, you know what I'm saying? And practicing with type of intensity, practicing like what is on the script, giving looks for each other, like everyone was helping each other. It seemed like things were moving in the right direction, including being physical, playing actually football. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Which I think that over the course of years with this new football, the way that football's looking now, I think it's kind of shifted a little bit. It's shifted more away from, the physicality, but I feel like you have to implement that as well because it's still football. You still have to have that integrity intact. So, but getting back to the situation at hand, I don't really know what is going on at Hallis Hall. I mean, there is something that's really devastating that's going on because obviously the coach sees it and there's players that see it as well. And this is a situation where this foundation needs to be fixed or actually needs to be established. I feel like the foundation hasn't been established yet. And when I was coming up, like there was some type of a foundation that was established with the veteran leadership that was around. They were not going to let bad things happen on the football field or through practice and practice bad habits. Like that stuff got corrected right away. But there was always accountability on our team. You know what I'm saying? Like we had guys that were vocal. And if you messed up in practice, they would get after you along. Also with the coaches, like it was a double whammy. It wasn't just the coaches that were correcting people. It was the veteran leadership that we had that was checking people as well. And being accountable is good. It's a good thing. That's the culture that you want. I need to be able to trust you and you have to be able to trust me. And we have to be accountable with each other's actions and for each other moving forward because that's how you build winning programs and that's how you build winning teams.
Braggs, when I was drafted to the Bears, there was this I want to call it a cleansing of because when I got there was a ton of veteran leadership, lot of really big guys, Keith Traylor, Ted Washington, these guys, Brian Robinson, RIP, that were there and Lovey, I don't even say systematically, but he started moving them out to get. Number one, to get younger players that will buy into his system, to also get smaller players that can run. Because that when he got there and those guys got out, it became that first summer, it was an absolute track meet. Or the second summer, it was an absolute track meet. All we did was run. And he said, this is who we are. And along with that, every time we broke as a team, he said, we are going to be world champions. We're going to break as world champions. And I'm telling you, we muttered that the first time. It was like, I don't know if you've seen our team over the last couple of years, but all right, world champs, that's fine. And I don't know what you're talking about, but okay, world champs,
sure.
Right. And so that next year, that year, I think we had like 4 wins or something like that. But defensively, we felt it. We're like, oh, shoot, we on to something, okay? Next year, we're going to make them push. And so by the end of that year, even though I think we had 5 wins or something like that, by the end of that year, when we broke world champs, we were like, hey, world champs, And then we got onto that run in 2005. And during that run in 2005, when we went in there to break and we said world champs, we meant that shit. You know what I mean? So there is a process of of buying into a new system, and like I said, in the very beginning, it was like, okay, but this is crazy. Like, all we do is run at practice. That's all we do is run. But then it started to show in the games. We took a lot of pride in that transition from, geez, all we do is run, to, dang, we're making a lot of plays on the field. And I actually think that we can do something. We have something here. So this team now, there's a system that they have to start buying into. You have Dennis Allen. People keep throwing these names out here and there. Oh, man, I love the way he runs these blitzes. Oh, I love the way he do this and that. You have to put that product on the field. There has to be something. There wasn't enough pride. There wasn't enough, we have to make this stop. We have to make this play. I have to play for the man next to me on the field right now. So this week, that's why I said, win the first damn down and then go win the next one. That's what I want to see. Take this one play at a time, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's got to start somewhere, but at the same time, you can't kill yourself. And that's what the Bears have been doing a lot in these last two games, is they are just killing themselves. You know what I'm saying? They are starting off, way back from the 8 ball. Like, they are just putting themselves in bad situations immediately. And I think that falls a little bit on, the coaches and the players as well. Like, you need to take some type of ownership. And we need guys to kind of get in other people's faces when it comes to accountability. That's what I want to see. That's what I know. Because when we were doing that as a football team, we were actually really good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We were very productive. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this team needs to start doing. They need to start being a little bit more accountable to each other, and they need to start, having that leadership presence felt. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel like the leadership presence is felt right now for this football team.
This is really
the hard part for that, though, Zoom, the hard part about somebody being a vocal leader is so many guys on that field are effing up on a consistent basis. How can somebody call somebody out and they be like, shoot, you just effed up the play before?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's tough. You got to number one, you got to be consistent. You got to be consistent with your play and your effort and your attitude. You got to be a guy that goes out there and fucking grinds every day and has that respect from everybody. Or you can call anybody out. You have to be that kind of guy. Yep. And that demands that also from the guy next to you and to the guy to your right and guy to your left. Now you get a whole group, and that's why I said when you asked me a question about leaders, we had an absolute team full of leaders. Mm-hmm. We point out this guy, we point out that guy, but everybody was damn accountable. Everybody worked their damn tail off. Right. Everybody had a lot of fucking pride. So this team, one of the issues with this team and the so-called leaders or somebody calling them out, they're not getting consistent play or grind from any one person right now that can call somebody out, and that's a problem.
But they've also talked about habits too. Practice habits. Like that bugs me. That irks me. Like, what are they not running to the ball? Are they not giving effort at every single time? Are they not communicating? These are practice habits now. Communication is practice habits. Hustling. You know what I'm saying? And showing effort is a practice habit. Like doing basic fundamentals, like holding on to the ball. You know what I'm saying? Catching the ball, blocking. These are all basic fundamentals that we've learned. Finishing the routes. Like, these are habits that he's talking about that they aren't doing too well. So I'm really interested to see what's going on in practice. Something is really, really tragic that's happening in practice right now for them to be talking about football habits.
Well, I think Lance hit it on. I think Lance hit it on the head. It's about buy-in. You've got guys on this team that are scarred from the failures of past, that when a coach comes in, he needs a certain energy of buy-in. And you've got, as you just said, I thought that was just so well explained. Everybody putting their hand up, Super Bowl. That's what's going on with this team right now. He comes in and says, we got to practice with a championship mentality. And they're like, champions. We're a bunch of losers. That's how they feel because of the way they've played the last few years. But at the same time, you either got to wash that from your memory bank and reset your mentality, or you got to leave. Right. And I remember the story, Briggs, that you told about R.W. McQuarters when you first came in, right? He didn't buy into what Lovey was trying to do. Lovey said goodbye. R.W. to me wasn't a terrible player, but
R.W.'s a stud.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Right. And so he came, but Lovey said, you're not playing to my standard. you're getting out of here, right?
So it sounds like this is more of a coaching situation. You know what I'm saying? Like if people are talking about bad habits, then the coaches need to correct that right away. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not finishing your route, the coaches should be on you to be like, you better finish your route or else I'll get the number 2 in there. You know what I'm saying? That finishes his route.
Right.
Something needs to change, and it's very disappointing because here we are in week 3. We are in the season now. All this stuff should have been worked out in the preseason. You know what I'm saying? Like you had a whole preseason to work these things out. And I know that you're brand new to this. I know this is a whole brand new type of situation, but practice habits is something that should be established very quickly in the NFL.
Yep.
And if they were talking about it now, then that means that I'm putting more of the emphasis on the coach to correct that.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now how much of an effect that Lovey had on not only his era, but even in that Trestman era. When Willie Young was on with us, I don't know if you guys caught this, but he said, listen, he said something about a play with him and Jared Allen, and he goes, but what I didn't do, he's like, that wasn't a change of speed loaf, okay? The loaf system that we played on, when I talk about we ran to the ball, like we always running, it was a track meet. We tracked our loafs. You know, if you were loafing, if you had an effort loaf, if you had a change of speed loaf, if you got blocked too long, we called it a Velcro loaf. If you were on the ground and didn't pop up, we called it a hot stove loaf. You know, it's a system that we have. And so if I don't see, and I don't, listen, everybody does it their own way. But if I don't see 11 guys breaking to the ball, then we're leaving opportunities out defensively. If I don't see guys ripping and pulling and punching at the ball, now we're in a league now where everybody defensively, the secret's out. Peanut punches, it's out.
That's a thing.
It's a real thing. So all of those things included are part of becoming a great defense. It's not just about, oh man, we're dialing up the blitz, we're dialing this up, we're dialing up that. If you run to the damn ball, you can make up for mistakes, and you can make a hell of a lot of plays.
Yeah, if you just put the effort in, you can make a lot of plays. If you just run towards the football, good things happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think that we were so good, is that we gave that effort. And first and foremost, you have to give effort. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the professional football level. At the professional football level, and you have to give a certain amount of effort on every single play, because if not, then you're going to get exposed. And we've seen a lot of exposure going on right now. A lot of it. Well,
I mean, it's been a lot of talk, and certainly Ben's calling some things out, so there's the talk, and now hopefully on Sunday there's some action. We're going to take a quick 2-minute timeout, and when we come back, we're going to have a blueprint on how the Bears can beat the Cowboys here this week. So don't go away. Hit the like button while you're hanging out. Appreciate everybody joining us. 2 minutes away, and we'll come back with some more Chicago Bears football talk. Whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. They always take care of you fine people. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Whether it's spreads, props, futures, or in-game, Circa Sports has it for you. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Obviously, it's week 3 of the NFL season. We're going to be going over all the different ways you can make some money on the Circa Sports Illinois app when we do our Da Bet segment coming up here in a little bit. And then, of course, MLB playoffs right around the corner. Our Chicago Cubs are in, so throw some money down on the Cubbies and download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Make sure you call 1-800-GAMBLER. Shout out to our good friends over at Circa Sports. And then, of course, got to give some love over to our friends over at Four Seasons. Winter will be here before you know it, unfortunately. And is your home's heating up for the challenge? That's the big question. Well, Four Seasons is where you want to go. Got a plumbing emergency? Call Four Seasons. An electrical emergency? Call Four Seasons. Need a new hot water tank installed today? Call Four Seasons. Now is the time to schedule your Four Seasons furnace tune-up. Thinking about a whole home generator? Well, we've got you covered at Four Seasons. We guarantee same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and generator needs with no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. Furnaces start at $39 a month, and AC furnace combos from $57 a month. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. Okay, we're back here on the Brick by Brick podcast with Lance Briggs and Jerry Azumah. Appreciate everybody joining us. Hit that like button. And, hey, you cannot super chat on this show because if you look here on the bottom right corner, you can donate to our good friends over at Big Brothers and Big Sisters. We've been having a big month of promotion and partnership with them, and it's been a really, really rewarding thing, I think, in trying to help a really great cause. And at CHGO, we're a community. We show up for our teams, and most importantly, we show up for each other. And that's why this September, we are so proud to partner with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America, an organization dedicated to making sure every kid has someone to show up for them. A one-on-one mentorship can change a child's entire future. I know Mark Carmen signed up to become a mentor. You can too, but if not, you can certainly just donate to the cause, and it's a really great cause indeed. So if you visit bbbs.org/allcity, you can make a donation. Any amount makes a huge difference. Once again, that's bbbs.org/allcity. Let's do this together. We appreciate every single one of you. Please hit that donate button and throw any amount you possibly can. We appreciate your support as always. All right, let's get into it, guys, as we do every week. Our blueprint of success. It's been a blueprint of failures for the Bears, but we're trying to give them the blueprint of success.
On the success
so we'll continue to give this. Maybe we'll try to send this blueprint to Hallis Hall each week because they're not listening to us.
Each and every week we should send it.
We'll just start sending it here going forward. But let's get into it. Our blueprint to beating the Cowboys here in week 3. Briggs, you are up first. Your first key to our blueprint.
Do your damn job.
Yes.
Simple as that. Everybody just do your damn job. Within football, within a game, there are many battles that happen in the game. Win your battle. Do your job, and then let's move on to the next play. And with that being said, that'll bring us right to number 2. Do your job and take it one play at a time. One play at a time. You go out there, and what happens is you go out, you win that first play. Then you win the next play. And it adds up. There's, 75 plays in the game. All right? You go out, you win more of those than you lose. Guess what? We have a great chance to win the game.
Yeah. I love it.
Yep.
Spot on, my brother. You are spot on. Yeah. When it comes to the Bears offense, I think that the wide receivers need to win their matchups and test this Cowboys secondary. The Cowboys secondary is not really that great. Russell Wilson put up 450 yards or something crazy like that against the secondary. I mean, if I'm a wide receiver for the Chicago Bears and I'm Caleb and I'm the whole offense, I'm thinking, okay, we got to air this ball out. Let's get to this Ben Johnson, era of football with the offense, like lighten up the scoreboard. They have an opportunity to do that against this secondary. The secondary is not really that great, so it seems like Rome is rising up to be number 1. You know what I'm saying? And there's going to be plenty of opportunities for all the wide receivers. And also, where is Colston? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we put a package in for, like, our tight ends? You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about this 12 personnel and getting this thing going. Like, now is an opportunity to get this thing really back on track because this secondary is not that great. But these wide receivers for the Chicago Bears, they have to win their matchups and get open, obviously. And I think that they can do that this week. And I think that we can do some damage in the air. Just look at Russell Wilson. I mean, he's 77 years old, and he passed for over 450 yards. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Like, we should be able to recreate that in our own home, you know what I'm saying, at Soldier Field with the weapons that we have. It's time for us to, like, spread our wings and, like, let's get this thing going and get this thing back on track.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fire away with number 2.
And then number 2, bring it up for me, Steven. Number 2, yeah, the Bears defensive front. They need to come alive. You know what I'm saying? So we need to get after the quarterback. There is a lot of money that has been spent on this defensive line. A lot
Ching,
of money.
ching.
You know what I'm saying? And we haven't really seen the return on investment. Like, it's time for them to dial things up and win their, like you Lance said, win their one-on-one matchups, because that's what it is. One-on-one matchups. There's a lot of battles that are going around, but if you win your matchup, then things will fall into place. And they're not doing that. It's been 2 games so far, and you know, the quarterbacks have been unmolested. They have not been, you know, harassed. They've not been under pressure. None of that stuff has happened. We have to get after the quarterback. The trenches are so important. You know, that's how you build a winning program. And if you're not going to start up front, then the whole back end dies. You know what I'm saying? The whole back end dies. Yep. So start up front, get after the quarterback, win these one-on-one matchups, and start earning these paychecks. You know I'm right, Lance. You know I'm right.
I know you're right. I love your wording. Like it's just a great community that our D-line lives in right there. That's it. No offenders whatsoever.
me and Steven both just gave a we looked at it like, wait, what?
You don't like the wordplay?
Where's the brickhead?
Hey, we gonna get our smiles and our laughs in. That's for damn sure.
Well, I won the brickhead comment of the day on Sunday. Typically, we only do it on game days, but I think Jerry might have just won the brickhead.
Yeah, give me that brickhead.
That was good. Hey, no, I agree.
We keep it real.
To the quarterback. Get to the
molest them
and harass him.
Harass.
We'll do all of that.
We'll just harass.
Violated. Yes.
Yeah, just harass him. We don't need to be filing charges after the game. All right, my first point of emphasis here on the blueprint to beating the Cowboys is the cadence has to be on point for Caleb Williams. I think this is a test that people are kind of forgetting about after week 1 with the 12 penalties. 130 yards of penalties against the Vikings. Well, a lot of those were pre-snap penalties. And then week 2, they had 8 penalties. So we got down 4, but the difference between week 1 to week 2 is you're on the road and you're doing a silent count where Joe Thuney is tapping the center's shoulder, and that is the indicator for when they're going to snap the ball. Now you're going back home, and you now have the cadence that you need to use to your advantage. Don't let it be to your disadvantage, and now causing you penalties that put you at 1st and 15, 1st and 20, time and again, and put your offense behind the sticks. So that's on Caleb Williams to have his cadence down and the rest of that offense to respond to it correctly. And now you're not just executing it properly and getting the ball snapped, but now you are causing, guys like Jadeveon Clowney that are coming in, just signed by the Cowboys, to throw them off a tick, to give your offensive line a chance. Because if you were watching here against the Lions, they were bursting off the line of scrimmage off that snap more than a few times. So while the offensive line certainly needs to play better, you're tying a hand behind their back when the defense is able to get that jump off the line of scrimmage and time that snap of the ball. And so they have to use this cadence to their advantage this week and make sure they're avoiding pre-snap penalties. Because I think the other thing that people need to recognize coming into this game is, while we have been used to a Matt Eberflus defense that wasn't aggressive here in Chicago, which is why a lot of Bears fans were excited for him to just move on, and they gave up 37 points to the Giants, right? Mm-hmm. So this defense, I don't know what's going on down in Dallas, but all I know is from the years here in Chicago with Matt Eberflus, there were so many times it'd be 3rd and 12, and he'd play 12 yards back
soft
with his DBs, and we're sitting there like, get up on the line of scrimmage, send some blitzers. Well, I can promise you, in my opinion, this week they're going to be sending blitzers at Caleb Williams, because I think Matt Eberflus knows what rattles Caleb, and that is going to be applying pressure. You saw Brian Flores blitzing 60% of his snaps in the second half. As the Bears took on the Vikings week 1, I think Matt Eberflus is going to dial up that blitz more times than not. So the cadence is something that I think can throw that off. My second point of emphasis here on the blueprint is for the defense, I mean, we just keep talking. Last week, I isolated Montez Sweat. This entire defensive line, I don't really care. If it's defensive line, Brisker wants to be sent more, whoever it is, get to the damn quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of yelling, get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
5 seconds, Jared Goff's back there making a sandwich, doing whatever he wants to do back there, filing his taxes, making his dinner reservations, and then throwing it to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Got to get to the quarterback. Montez Sweat, Dio Dangbo, Jervon Dexter, Andrew Billings. Billings was so much better. Billings has been one of my favorite players the last 3 years.
Yeah.
This year, I don't see him making as big of an impact. Grady Jarrett's working through an injury. Then sit if you can't get to the quarterback. Brisker wants to be sent more. He's talking about that on Twitter yesterday. Fine. Well, if you do, then you better get home.
Yeah.
All these guys are not getting home enough, and everybody can point to Tyreek Stevenson and Deshaun Wright when they don't have Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson, and those guys are getting picked on. But if you can't get to the quarterback, that defense, defensive backs are going to just have are going to have their hands full no matter what.
Yeah.
So how about we get to the quarterback, and I think that's going to solve all the problems that are going on, or at least some of the problems they have going on behind them. So those are your blueprints. Your blueprint to success on beating the Cowboys.
All they got to do is just read this report that we give them, and they're going to win.
Yeah.
Try it. Let's just try it.
No charge.
Let's just try it. I mean, this is a game that is won in the trenches. So it all starts up front. And defensively, they're just not reestablishing the line of scrimmage. So you're exactly right. They need to get to the quarterback, man. Like, just get to the damn quarterback. I don't care how you do it. Just do it.
And all we need is you to become a subscriber, become a diehard, and tune into the Brick by Brick show. That's all we ask.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, if Montez Sweat was a diehard here at CHGO Sports, he'd know that he'd be like, oh, I have to get to the quarterback. That's what I've not been doing. And then it'd be a eureka moment, and he'd have 3 sacks here on Sunday.
Look, they have an opportunity to do it, though. They have an opportunity to do this against the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the Cowboys injury report, too, I mean, Jerry, you mentioned, kind of exposing the Cowboys DBs. Deron Bland likely out for this game with a foot injury.
Yep.
Javon Diggs, he's going to be a little bit behind in practice. He's out with an illness right now.
Yeah.
He should probably play, but he did not practice yesterday.
And the secondary was shaky before these guys got hurt.
Well, and when you talk about getting to the quarterback, I think Cooper Beebe, their center, who's like a stud, he's going to be out this game as well. He's going to be out.
We have opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cooper Beebe being out. He is a very, very mobile center.
Yes, he is.
Because he was originally a guard, and he was a very good one at Kansas State. And, I mean, that guy getting out on pass plays or, screen plays for the running backs, things like that, that's a big loss for the Cowboys. And then Tyler Guyton, another one. He was limited in practice, but he's another starter on that team that they rely on heavily.
So both teams dealing with a lot of injuries.
The opportunities are there for the Bears.
And it sounds like, according to Lance Skilling over here, that it's going to rain really hard.
Good. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Sound like it's still allergy season.
It always is with my nostrils. All right, it's always allergy season. So,
shout out to your nostrils.
Well, both teams, as I said, are dealing with injuries, while Lance is dealing with sinus problems indefinitely. But with the rain potentially coming in, as Lance forecasted for us, our weatherman report, it sounds like both these teams who already have a ton of injuries sustained. Let's hope it isn't raining, honestly, because neither team can use, with rain and slick. It's not going to just relax.
How is their running game going to be in this rain? You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like Dallas, they're trying to establish some type of a run system. You know what I'm saying? And it's working a little bit. But they have Williams back there.
Javonte
Williams. He's actually been spinning a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They're not afraid to give him the ball and let him work between the tackles. So, but if this defensive line can't stop the run first and foremost, oh my goodness, it's going to get really ugly, like really ugly.
Lance is pulling up the weather report here.
What's the pollen count?
77 degrees and raining here on Sunday.
Yeah, from 6:37 to 6:49, fellas. Just let you know.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. Should be a fun
Thanks
day.
for letting us know.
Should be a
we
fun
appreciate
day.
that.
Let's take another quick timeout. That is the blueprint.
All about the team.
Yeah, we needed to see that.
That is the blueprint here on Beating the Cowboys.
We believe you.
We're going to take another quick 2-minute timeout, and when we come back, we'll show you how you make some money with our friends over at Circa Sports Illinois. So don't go away. Hit that like button. 2 minutes away. Make some money. Hey guys, just want to give you a quick reminder. Now is as good a time as ever to become a diehard at CHGO Sports. Head to allchgosports.com/diehard to sign up, or use the QR code you see here on your screen if you're watching on YouTube. You get exclusive written content from Adam Johns, who's just been doing an amazing job since he jumped on board with us a few months ago. Adam Hogue, Mark Carman, Patrick Norton, also doing some great written work that's exclusive to you when you become a diehard. And when you become a diehard, you can get a free shirt right out the gate, discounts on all future purchases off your merchandise, and future discounts on events. You see the shirts here on our screen, some sweet ones. You got to get that Northside one, the Northside dog right there. That's a good one right there. So make sure you go to allchgo.com/diehard. And we have an 85% off sale right now and 20% off ALLCITY warehouse sale as well. So select items are not included in the promotion, but there's a lot of really great deals if you go and check it out. So we're taking care of you fine people. And when you become a diehard, as I said before, you get discounts on events such as our tailgates that we have for every single home game. You don't have to be a diehard to come to our tailgates. They're at the corner of Wabash and Cermak. If you go to allchgo.com/events, you can come through. Anybody's welcome, all different ages. Doesn't matter who you are. Come on through. All you can drink, all you can eat barbecue, all the good times you can possibly have. Bears, Cowboys coming up here on Sunday, 3:25 kick. So the tailgate starts a little later in the morning. You don't have to be there at 6 a.m. I'll be there at 6 a.m., but you can get up at a more reasonable time. So hope to see you at the tailgate. Make sure you become a diehard. And hey, if you're coming to Vegas, you can still jump on and get a tailgate ticket for right before the game. Lot to offer. Make sure you come out. We're excited to see you. Let's have a good time and bear down. All right, we are back here on the Brick by Brick podcast with Lance Briggs and Jerry Azumah. Please hit that like button while you're hanging out. And while you are hanging out, let's get into our award-winning segment, and that is Da Bets. That's right. This is Da Bets, and we're breaking down our picks from around the NFL, and we're getting our lines from Circa Sports Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Shout out to our friends at Circa Sports. Let's get right into it, Jerry. Week 3 of the NFL. We're going to start with our Chicago Bears. 3:25 kick. The Bears are home dogs.
Home dogs.
Home dogs for the second home game in a row. Here.
The total is at what, 50?
Here.
I think there's going to be points on the board. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but the rain. What about the rain?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, the secondary is just not really that great on both teams right now. Let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying? The Bears gave up, 50-something points? So one team 52 alone can get this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that there's going to be points on the board. I'm going with the over here. But in terms of the Cowboys being a 1-point favorite, until the Bears show me something offensively or basically collectively as a whole that they can win a football game, I'm riding with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Going with the Cowboys. Yep.
Briggs, any thoughts on the over on 50?
I don't want to do that either.
Taking the under there, Lance Skilling?
Action, it should be that 52 points should be a fluke. It should be a fluke. And so I'm saying I'm taking the under. I'm thinking I don't think 50 points is going to happen in a thunderstorm, rainy, sloppy game.
Football might not happen if it's thunder.
Yeah. It might be delayed and whatever, but I really hope that I'm right on this one.
You do not sound confident whatsoever.
I don't. The Bears have to earn that confidence back. I think they need to earn that for everyone.
I have no confidence either. Lance said earlier that he was receiving DMs. People worried about my well-being, and they should be. because I've just been a glass case of emotion for 2 weeks.
We feel for you.
Yeah.
We feel for you.
Then I got in a car accident. I got in a car accident 2 days ago.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The Bears owe you. That's what it sounds like. The Bears owe us.
I honestly blame the car accident on the Bears.
As you should. It's their fault.
No doubt. It is their fault.
It's their fault.
And I tell everybody you have a good support system. You know, you have a guy right next to you and a guy right here on this pod that checks on you, make sure you're all right. Okay. Yeah. And Steven and you have a great studio and we're gonna see you through this. We're gonna get through this together.
Well, that's very nice.
Oh God. Great.
Yeah.
Oh man, boy, we're really confident about this game, huh?
I know this is like that part where we're all like Super Bowl on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Super Bowl on 3, 1, 2, 3, Super Bowl. Man, I tell you what, man, the Cowboys, golly, they played well in the beginning of the year. You know what I'm saying? Dak starts clicking. They got some offensive weapons. I think they're going to hit their tight end.
You know what'll be a funny matchup will be George Pickens versus Tyreek Stevenson, and who's going to get the first penalty between the two of them?
Yeah, both of them are.
Well,
at the same time.
I was going to go right there. Who do you think guards CeeDee Lamb? Is it Tyreek Stevenson or is it Nashawn Wright?
I think Stevenson.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Tyreek Stevenson in coverage through the first 2 weeks of the season, the passer rating is 158.3.
Yeah, it's way up there. It's way up there.
It's a perfect quarterback rating when throwing at Tyreek Stevenson's targets for quarterbacks this year.
All right.
Like, Jerry, how do you bounce back from that?
To his defense, we have not had any quarterback pressure.
Right.
Okay.
Starts there.
When you don't have pressure, it's called rush and cover, not cover and rush. Okay. When you don't have pressure, DBs get exposed. All right.
Quickly.
So the first thing we have to do is get to the quarterback, get the ball out on time, or get the quarterback down, get hits, all of that stuff. Then you're going to see more consistent play from those corners. It is very difficult to cover guys for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. It is very difficult.
Another thing that's going to help them also is that the corners got to get up on the wide receivers too and knock their timing off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you can't just allow teams to just get into a track meet type of situation like we did last week. Like, literally, was it Jameson just went right down the football field?
Williams, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Was not bumped at all, and then they threw the ball over the top for an easy touchdown. Like, that is the easiest way that you can get a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get up there and challenge these wide receivers at some point. You know what I'm saying? It all has to work together. Like Lance said, it starts up front, but at the same time, these DBs, they got to challenge these wide receivers.
Got to challenge them.
No question. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I think Tyreek Stevenson did have that pass breakup on Justin Jefferson in week 1 on like a third down.
They did a solid job for 3 quarters.
For 3 quarters, and then it all fell apart. So let's see. Let's hope for these guys to bounce back. Obviously, they need Kyler Gordon back in the worst way, and it doesn't seem like Jalen Johnson will return this season, so that's certainly
What's the update on Kyler? Is he coming back soon? Because we need him.
Doesn't sound like he's going to play this week. So
he hasn't practiced yet.
You know, every year. That's the one thing. Kyler's a fantastic player, really talented, but he's been injured every year, and they just gave him a contract extension, so that's really disappointing. Let's get into the NFL slate as we round third here on the Brick by Brick podcast. Hit that like button while you're hanging out. Here is the NFL slate for the week. You got Dolphins at Bills coming up here in just a few minutes.
It's gonna go one.
As we're bringing this show right to you as your pregame for Thursday Night Football every week, and then Bengals at Vikings at noon. So it's a really good noon slate for Sunday.
Absolutely.
Bengals at Vikings is an interesting one. The battle of the backups with Carson Wentz for the Vikings and Jake Browning for
Browning, former Viking.
Yes,
former Viking. Jake Browning.
Did he throw 3 touchdowns last week?
Yeah, he had a really good. I think he also threw 3 interceptions. To be fair, but.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Jake Browning's from Sacramento, baby.
Move on.
The town you abandoned.
Moving
Raiders
on. Tumbleweed.
Abandoned them.
I've never seen tumbleweed live until I went to Sacramento.
You got Raiders at Commanders. That'll be an interesting one. And I think one I earmarked because it is the Bears' upcoming opponents for weeks 4 and then after the bye in week 6. Rams at Eagles is probably the
That's
top
gonna be a good one.
matchup of the week, a rematch of the playoffs last year. Jets at Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield.
Love him.
Putting an early entry into the MVP conversations.
Let's
And
go,
then
Bake.
Lions at Ravens, Monday Night Football. So let's go through the odds for each of these games here.
You call them bake now, huh?
And you got Dolphins at Bills coming up in just a few minutes, so you better lay your bets down quick. But the over/under set at 49.5. The Bills are favored heavily in this game because the Dolphins. I don't know if
Backdoor cover.
I don't know if Mike McDaniel might make it out of this game as the head coach of the Dolphins.
He's gonna make it out.
We'll see.
He's gonna make it out.
Let's keep rolling through.
They're gonna cover.
They're gonna cover. Okay. Well, let's see. Bengals, Vikings. Vikings. I don't know. The Bengals are the favorites. No, the Vikings.
The Vikings are the
Well,
favorites.
I can't read. I'm sorry, I can't read. And then the over/under set.
Do your job.
Over/under's at 41.5. Nobody's.
That's
the
some great
favorite.
veteran leadership there, Lance. Let him know.
Sir.
Let him know.
What's the
Call
next
him out.
one? Bring the next one up. Raiders, Commanders. Commanders are the favorites.
And Jaden Daniels might not play in that game. He's got a knee
that's
sprain.
true. So are the Raiders the favorites then?
No, it
No,
says
they are
minus.
not.
You're the favorite.
They are not the favorite.
There's too many numbers.
The Commanders are the favorites
boy.
by 3.
You don't need to worry about the numbers. It's just the plus or the
Steven, how about
minus.
you start reading these things?
All right, I
going
will.
forward?
Man,
The
that
Commanders
card-
are 3-point favorites against the Raiders at home. Rams and Eagles. Eagles 3.5-point favorites.
Okay.
Are you following me right now?
I'm following.
Okay. Over
That's
the
what
Rams.
the .5 means.
Pair of playoff
Half.
teams from last year. Jets at Bucks. Buccaneers 6.5-point favorites. You learning, Braggs?
Yeah, and I think the thing with the Bucks is I think Baker Mayfield is a good.
He's the truth.
He's the truth, but I also think it's a good example of why Bears fans need to be patient with Caleb Williams. Because could you imagine being a Browns fan or even a Panthers fan? 'Cause they had Baker Mayfield at 1.2. Could you imagine having a guy like that in your quarterback room? You gave up on him, and now he's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFC.
Yeah.
And
Change of scenery was good for
those
him.
are two franchises that
It
have been
wasn't
trying
meant
to
to be.
figure out their quarterback situation. And some guys,
Wish it happened earlier.
It takes a minute for guys to develop. And Baker comes from a similar system, college system with the Lincoln Riley system and things of that nature. And so I think Baker Mayfield is an example of a cautionary tale of not giving up on your quarterback too soon and trying to bring that back to the Bears.
You're exactly right.
Bears spectrum there.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, his
development.
rookie year, he passed for 27 TDs, which is third all-time by a rookie. And then all of a sudden it was this precipitous fall where it was like, I don't know if this guy is even a starting quarterback, let alone somebody that you mentioned earlier could be in the MVP conversation if he continues this rate. So, I mean, to your point, I mean, you can't give up on guys too early, particularly when they have that pedigree and that talent.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. And then
And in today's climate, you know, we bring these first rounders out and they play right away. You know, we come from a time where these first round quarterbacks will come in and they would play behind a veteran guy, and as they develop and they learn that this NFL game is different than the college game. So they had more time to get ready for those teams and be prepared.
All of that stuff has changed drastically. I mean, if you look at like Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he sat for 4 years behind a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he needed that time to sit. You know what I'm saying? If you look at some of the really good quarterbacks that have been around, they've sat down. You know what I'm saying? And had time to kind of process what the NFL is all about before they got on the football field and did their thing.
Well, and it's not a one-size-fits-all. Sure, there's been quarterbacks that have come out and played well right away, but then there's also quarterbacks that have come into a good situation right away and then had a fall off too after that. There's always going to be a humbling moment in your career.
Absolutely.
I mean,
It's the
look at what
NFL.
CJ Stroud's going through right now, right? Over the last, since he humbled Caleb Williams,
Yeah.
I think he has 18 touchdowns and 13 interceptions
Yeah.
since that moment where CJ's trying to big brother Caleb, and he
The
was just,
NFL's
I think,
hard.
trying to be a nice nice guy to him. I'm not going to take a shot at CJ, even though some Bears fans took exception to it, even if Caleb might have taken exception to it. But Caleb has actually outplayed him statistically since that moment, and I think that goes to show you, like, you know, it takes – sometimes there is a war of attrition in football that you have to embrace. Kyler Murray's another example of that as well. And so it's not a one-size-fits-all, but it does, at the end of the day, take experience for these guys to let the game slow down for them. Yeah. So we got the final line here with the Lions and the Ravens.
Let's go Ravens.
The Ravens are
Game of the
4.5. Lions
Yes, you
are
did it.
4.5-point favorites at home. The over-under is 53 points. So, guys, do we think we see, you know, it's like the Vikings week 1, they get the offensive player of the week with J.J. McCarthy, then they get humbled against the Falcons at home. The Lions, they beat the snot out of the Bears. Jared Goff wins, you know, offensive player of the week, rightfully so, unlike J.J. McCarthy. And now they play the Ravens. So do you think it's going to be one of these things where each team that plays the Bears kind of gets faked out on who they really are, and then the humbling comes the next week? Because I don't know. I don't feel great about the Lions in this matchup against the Ravens.
I mean, Lance?
Listen, obviously we're all rooting for the Ravens. We're all rooting for the Ravens, right? At home, I'm taking the over on that on those points. What was it, 52, 53, whatever it was? I'm taking over on that. I think we have two offenses that will be clicking, and regardless of how good those defenses are, I think the offenses find a way. But the Ravens win this one. The Ravens win this one, fellas. Ravens, I think, should be in the talk again for potential Super Bowl attendees.
All right, well, that wraps things up for Da Bets here, presented by Circa Sports Illinois. Hit that like button one more time for the Brick by Brick podcast as we wrap things up here. And Lance is he hit the like button. That's what he was doing. I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know what he was doing.
Veteran leadership right there.
Best of luck to you, Lance. I know you got a big game coming up tomorrow, right?
Best of luck.
Oh yeah. We play Mesa Mountain View. Excuse me. the Basher Bears. The other Bears that represent Arizona are undefeated. We're ranked 25 in the nation right now, and we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a big game.
And best of luck to you. I mean, this is obviously recorded early. This be played tonight, but
that's why I got my salmon on.
Right, you got, because you're going out to
which
golf.
Everybody likes. By
you're
the way,
going out to golf here.
Salmonella.
So by the time this show airs, you're gonna have finished your round. How do you think you're gonna shoot?
Yes, I'll be present.
I will be shooting.
I will be present. I will be shooting.
Yeah. Right. Well, best of luck to you.
Yes.
Thank you to Steven, as always, for running the ones and twos behind the scenes here on a Thursday. Busy afternoon. We got a lot of stuff. Make sure you go back and watch the CHGO Bears show from earlier in the day. And make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you donate to our big brothers and big sisters.
Definitely do that.
Always. And thank you to Lance Briggs and Jerry Azumah, as always. And thank you to all of you in the chat for hanging out with us. Enjoy Thursday Night Football. Enjoy your weekend. And we will be back on Sunday with and 2 post-game shows, including the Brick by Brick after show. So we'll just keep on coming. Must win for the Chicago Bears. We'll find out what they're all about. But we know what we're all about here, and that is Chicago Bears football, baby. So keep your head up. And always
Bear
down.
We all silly like the mayor.